Cool. All right. Let us begin. I haven't obviously finished writing the measure. Yes. All right. I will wait till you guys are done chit-chatting. I will write the learning intention, don't worry. Okay? If you can't read it on the board, then don't worry, I will be writing it down. I just want to give you guys some instructions. Okay, we ready? So, first off, I should apologize for our last lesson. I felt it was a little bit disorganized with how we were doing our notes. And so what I've decided is I want us to do the notes together as a class. And in fact, I will be writing the notes in a notebook just like you guys. All right? So let's talk about how we're going to set up this notebook so it's nice and tidy. And then we will take our notes like that. So you guys already know what I would expect for my routine. Obviously, there were some things that I passed out that I want to make sure are glued into your books. So it's really important that you have a glue stick today. If you don't have one, you can borrow from the loan shark. Just got to give me collateral. A phone, a wallet, some keys, bus pass. Something you definitely want back. Okay? Glue stick, before you run away, I'm going to give you a card so you don't forget. All right, anybody else? Collateral. Either borrow from a classmate next to you or you give me collateral. Give the device. It'll be okay. Yes, so there's in that drawer here. Mine's probably a little easier. Okay. Yeah. For Ella, it might make, if she wants to type it, then her handwriting is quite good. Yeah. So, it's still different on notebook though, because that was blue things in. Yeah. Cool. So, first thing I want us to do with our science books is to make sure we have our name in it. So, if it isn't already there, make sure you write your name. My first name's Carrie. Get curious. All right. If anybody needs a Sharpie to write on their books, feel free to grab one. Which is science. Very good. I'll zoom it up. Maybe it'll be less blurry now. Science. And then what class is this? Yes. So go year 9IS. And also, just to be on the safe side, your book gets misplaced. It helps if it's able to find its way back to me. G-L-K. Just in case. G-L-K. We're gluing. All right. So, a little investment in learning law, so that way we can collect stickers and stamps for completion of work. So, if you already glued it in, if you haven't, I want you to glue it in. And we'll glue it in the front cover. If you don't have one, I can give one to you. Some of you guys have given me yours to put on to, so I will pass them out. You gave it to me, and if you knew it, let's put these in the books. So, I'm going to go ahead and give you your lesson Bible. Bathroom passes. Yes? So if you have already glued in your bathroom pass, that's fine. If you have lost it, I have some spares. And we're gluing. I don't have any of them, I don't think. I can double check, but I'm pretty sure. Oh, I know. I have a couple. read them the next class. All right. Alrighty. Cool. Next one is going to be a checklist. I have given you guys a checklist before. This one has a colored piece of paper to make it easy to find. So you can glue it on top of the one you had previously, or you can glue it onto a new page. Now, all of these guys glue right in the front of our learning, so that way we know what our different sections are. So the first page, if you have a new book, it's in the front cover and very easy to find it. I already gave you one. You're welcome to glue this one over it. I just figured this one is a nice yellow piece of paper, so it's easy for you to see it and find it. Sure. I know, I think it was like RJ and Daniel were asking about this. They're like, what's the learning intention? You're already starting to jump right into our routine. It's really, really good. So here's what I want us to do. So we're all going to be doing written notes, and we're all doing it together. So as our little pattern, the first thing I want us to do is write down the date. So today is the 17th of February. If you want to write it at volume, you can also write February 17th. Oh, you're supposed to mention that's the date. Are we doing it so far? I'm just checking on my phone what I'm paying attention is. Money. All right. So, working memory, also known as paraphernalia. So today, we are going to make measured observations and Yes, gotta write the whole thing down. All right. And then what's the other thing I'm going to listen with? I do now, media. All right, so let me put up the questions to you guys, okay? Don't worry. No, it's going to be on the PowerPoint too. Okay? So, on the PowerPoint, in our notebook, so the funny is there again, if you still haven't had a chance to copy it down. Now, I also want you guys to do the do now. So our do now question or item today is I want you guys to create a list of examples of measurements. And we're thinking everyday measurements. So something you might do, something you might have measured this morning, something you might measure when you get home over the weekend. What are some examples of everyday measurements? So take a moment and write me down a list, and then we will discuss some ideas. All right. I'm going to move it to the notebook again. Now you want to make a note about what we are answering. So the question today was examples of everyday measurements. So I'm going to write down examples of everyday measurements. I was going to say one earlier. An example. Height. Yep. You know what? You know what your measurement is? Yeah. Centimeters is quite often. I'm from the States, so we tend to use feet and inches, which is a little bit more complicated. And here are examples of measurements. Yes. Kilometers. Yes, another distance type of measurement. So let's write down kilometers. And we'll write down distance. So like maybe when you're walking to school, you're like, oh, I walk 1.5 kilometers to school. Okay, Ellen, have your hand up. What was your example? Weight. Good. What kind of units do we use for weight? Does anyone know? Yeah. Yes. Grams, kilograms, tons. Those are all really good examples. Should we think of some more? Sure, good. What do we measure in this country? In Celsius. Yeah. Should we do one more so we have enough time? Sometimes we're going to anything in Fahrenheit because that's what they grew up with. All right. Okay, again. Reach. Reach, yeah. We can measure the length of a reach. So like how far am I reaching to kind of get up to something? I'm very short, so not very far. All right. Last one. I'm not going to write it down. Millimeters. Yeah, we're going to measure really tiny things with millimeters, aren't we? Yeah. Mass. Yeah. Mass is a little bit more complicated. I know we use the word weight interchangeably with mass. So I'm going to put weight and mass over here. I don't know if we're going to talk about it this year or another year, but we'll talk about what the difference between these two things are. One more. Volume. Ooh, very clever. So yeah, volume is like different things, yeah? So I think this is like a half a liter or something like that. Right. So I move on. One more. Yes. And do you know what sounds measured in? Well, very good. That's hard to answer. All right, shall I move on? Yeah? Okay. Yeah, you could. All right. So, what are some examples of everyday measurements? What we're going to do then for today's lesson, you guys remember our last lesson we talked about observations? About just noticing things around us. So we're going to make observations and then we're going to add a number to it. That's the measurement. And we're going to continue with today's lesson. We're also going to processing them. So we're going to take this data and we're going to use that data somewhat. We're going to put them multiple different ways. Today's way that we have time will be averaging. All right, shall I move on? Yes? All right, when I teach you guys from the book, you guys have a look at the book. If you need my exact answers, you can always find the. Oh, you can copy up another person as well. Yeah. All right. Cool. So, here's what I'm going to do for today's lesson. I want to think about my measurements. I want to think about how other cultures make measurements. Then we're going to think about why we need to standardize the measurements. You'll see that the modern measurements, quite common with other cultures, it's not standardized. We got to think about why that's important. Then we're going to do an activity with a gum boot, and we're going to try to toss the gum boot. And that will give us a chance to practice measuring. We'll have a video to look at the science of the shot, because these two tie together really well. And we'll also look at running versus jumping distance, but kind of a long jump. Yes, you will. Yeah, so when it comes to things in the left part, you can only get your item back at the end of the lesson. Okay? And then we'll talk about the science of the long jump, and we'll watch some videos to kind of see that. Are we good? Yeah. All right, shall we keep going? Okay. So the next thing then is our success criteria. How do we know that we have accomplished what we need to cover? So the aim for today, but we may not get through all of it, that's okay. Number 2. So we did number 1 in our last lesson, right? So we can take one off. If you don't feel like you can do that, you can take it off in the I'm ready column. If you don't feel like you can do it, leave it blank. And you know that you need to practice that. All right? The other thing we're going to cover in class is the difference between independent, dependent, and control variables. So you can take that one off. Now, also, we'll put them on the board. So if you guys need to copy yourself what we're trying to do, you can look over there. But you don't need to copy any of that down, because I've given it to you on a piece of paper. All right, we can do number 3, collecting data by taking measurements. We're going to process that raw data into results. We'll work over a couple of lessons. And then we're going to be looking at patterns and trends with that evidence. So again, we'll look at it over multiple lessons. So we'll probably take it a few times actually. And that's good because it's practice, it's reinforcing. So 2 in today's lesson. Shall we go? Yep. All right. So our first activity for today is, and I want us to look at how they did their measurements. So in a moment, I'm going to give you a piece of paper to glue in your book, and in your table groups, you're going to measure the long side of the table. So this is the longest side of it. You know, there's a short side and a short side. Now, many cultures, when they were using measurements, they used different body parts to measure. So, for example, like the arms and things like that. So, when we think about a meter, we have to ask ourselves, where did that number come from? Where did that idea of a meter come from? It's things like this. So, I want us to give us a go and see how we can measure. So, I'm going to give you our little sheet to fill in. Now we're not going to do all of the body measurements. We're just going to do a couple of them to see. Here we go. So we're going to do my look guys in here. Basically, we're going to have space fluid. Okay. We're going to start writing the notes, and I'm going to glue this towards the bottom, underneath it, so there's space for you. Yep. I don't have any glue. Now I have glue. All right. There we go. All right. So what I want us to do in a moment is I want us to test out 3 of the body measurement units. So and right? Now you're going to be measuring, we're going to take the whole side of the table, and we want to figure out how many that's the length of this long side of the table. Now you're going to be able to work in groups to figure this out. I'm not going to call you already. The Mati Kara, which is the square of the outspread fingers from the tip of the thumb to the tip of the whole finger. So that's and then the last thing that can be fun is the pussy, and that's the length of your little finger. And then we're going to continue to open that for the long side of the table. Right? If you do it, you can go use the tables on the side as well, some extra tables. But let's take some measurements. So alongside the table. Yeah. So I'm going to use this one. And then Matikara is that one. And then Koichi is just a little finger. Oh, that's pretty loud. Right? Just remember to write it down. You should write it down in this section here. Make sure you write down the number in these boxes here. I wanted the wrong side, so on that side. Yeah. Okay. All right. So why do you think a lot of cultures use body parts as measurement? They didn't have a ruler. It's a nice, and also it's readily available. Yeah. But there's some issues with it. Yeah. So what do you guys notice with the problems? Yeah, everyone has like a slightly different size hand, slightly different size arm, slightly different size pinky finger. Yeah? So, all those tables are the same, because we're talking about the long side, but we all got different numbers, right? Or some of us got different numbers. Yeah? That's a real problem, because what it means is that we can't compare things. It's not universal. So even though all the sides of the table you guys are measuring were the same, you guys got different numbers in the same unit. Sarah? Exactly, that's the problem. Some people's fingers are smaller. Some people's hands are smaller. So, thinking about Marty, why do you think it wasn't that important for them to have a universal measurement? And we just had a rough estimation. Any idea? This is a big tie to history. Don't know? Should I tell you? New Zealand, Aotearoa is very geographically isolated. It's an island. It's on the bottom of the earth. So there wasn't a lot of trade or commerce. So there wasn't a lot of other populations they were interacting with. And so they didn't really need a precise form of measurement. But now, today, we obviously do. So let's think about some other things. Let's also tie into cultural as well. Oh, you guys can't see anything on the board because I froze it. I'm sorry. You missed those things. There you go. There we go. So, one of the things to think about is that even though this wasn't a very accurate form of measurement, it was still a very important form of measurement because it ties into a lot of cultural significance. So one of the things that would be really significant is that let's say we are making a house. And we're making a house, you have to take measurements of a person. And now that house is tied to that person. So it'd be really hard to choose for something like that. They would use as their measurement stick and thus design. Yes, this stuff might be all right. Cool. Shall I keep going? Yeah. Yeah? Okay. So, in a moment, we're going to toss some gumboots. Yeah. But we need to write some things down. If we're not writing things down, we are just not around. So I'm giving you guys this really cool. I know you lots of paper. And the value for your money. Yes, good. So what do you want? So we will take we're going to be doing this and we're going to talk about gumboots. All right. So, like I said before, if we're not writing things down, we are. Right. So, we're going to glue this into our books. I'm going to glue it this way so that way we have paper. Write some things down before we go throwing things. All right? Yeah. No, that's not nice. Well, you can step outside. If you're doing a drink of water from the water bottle, you can step outside. Alrighty. Cool. So, we're thinking about the gumboot, and we're going to take the gumboot and we're going to throw it. Yeah? Now, we're going to throw it in different ways. So, what I'm going to write in this box over here is method of throwing. So, what are some ways we can throw this gumboot? Yeah, so overhand. Yep. So over arm like that. What's another one? Under arm. Now thinking of one that could be really fun for us. sideways. Let's do this spin and toss, so then it kind of mimics a shot put. Yeah, spin and toss, frizzy kind of thing. What's up? Yeah, I'm just go. Yeah, that's cool. All right. So, different throwing methods. We've posted different choices, right? We've changed our throwing method. So this throwing method, I'm going to change the color of my pen. Don't feel like you need to too. It's just to help distinguish the notes. So this throwing method here that we've changed is the independent variable. Independent variable. So the independent variable is what I'm changing. What you are changing. It's basically what your experiment is all about. So I'm going to test out the different throwing methods. Okay? So now we're going to start learning variables. All right, what is this we're going to do after we threw it? We're going to record, we're going to measure how far it went, yeah? So we're going to measure the distance of the throw. So we're going to write that here. What unit do you think we're going to use? No, because I think you guys can throw for a few centimeters. Yeah. That, you can throw that far. What could be between the two? Okay. Meters. So we're going to do a little parentheses. I'm going to write M for units. That tells us meters. So that little M is referring to meters. Do we have a unit for the throwing method? No, we don't. Okay, sometimes you don't have a unit. So, again, I'm going to use another color. Don't feel like you need to change the color. It's just to help us organize. This here, I figure out how to draw it. Do it like that. So, this right here is our dependent variable, which is what you can't change. This is what we are going to measure. Focus it. Dependent variable, what you are measuring. The way I like to remember it is independent variable, like independence, freedom, you are free to change that one. Dependent variable, you depend on it to have some results. Can I have multiple dependent variables? Yeah, those are different things. Can I have multiple independent variables? No, you can only change one thing at a time. And we'll learn about that in another lesson, the control variables. All right? I need a title for this graph. What's the title going to be? Think? Money. The tag should be nice and easy. It should be method of throwing. So we write our independent variable. Versus the distance of the throw. So you see here, I've taken the independent variable and reversed it against the dependent variable. That's what you do when you're doing titles. So that way it's really clear what your experiment is all about. So I'm trying to order box soon. 2 and pile 3. And then what are we going to do afterwards? Starts with an A. There you go. There you got it. Average. Yeah, so we're going to do 3 different sauces. All right. Obviously. Okay. Get some air. Okay. So, all right, just waiting. Okay. So, we won't be able to finish today's lesson, but that's okay. So I just want to talk about a recap, and then I will test criteria. We didn't get everything done, but that's okay. So we can go through and double check what we did finish. So let's go what we had talked about, right? So if you feel like you can understand the difference, like a half tick or like maybe a dash tick, we haven't finished it yet, have we? We haven't talked about control variables. Right? You can collect data by taking measurements. You haven't done that, okay, so we can take it off. I'm ready. Have we done the process yet? Yes. No, we haven't yet because we haven't averaged yet. So we'll do that in our next lesson, and we'll do this one in our next lesson as well, okay? It's fine. It can take us 2 lessons, not a biggie. All right. So what I want you guys to do is pack up. I'm happy you want to take the books home, but I would prefer it if you store them in our Year 9 science box. So if you don't want to carry it back and forth, if you're worried about you're going to forget it for our next science lesson, it is over there. It says Year 9 science on the box. Oh yeah, if you have any little sharp items, I will take them back in. So we have number 8. Coming back at you. We have number 9. Coming back at you. Now put that one back in the box. Alright, I think I have one more loan. Number 12. Number 12, and I also have, I think, another one for Ella as well. Alright? And take care of that. Thank you. Can we start on your seatbelt? I want to show you guys a quick video for the bell. Let's see. How long is this video? Oh yeah, we might have just enough time for you guys to watch a little bit of it. So this video here is on the science of the shot put.